So the most common dent that I see day to day is your standard door dent. Now of course if you're a hail technician you're more likely to see roof panels, rails, bonnets and such, but for me out on the road doing everyday kind of damage, it's those door dents I see day after day, and they're typically picked up in car parks when people park alongside, open up a car door and dink right into the side of the panel and just put those little dents in the side. So for me in my industry that is what I call the bread and butter of my kind of business. So learning how to repair this type of damage is really important to be able to kind of build up your PDR experience and certainly build up a PDR business as a kind of route tech out on the road. So in this video we're going to take a look at a couple of dents we have on the door panel behind me and run through different kind of techniques and tools for how I remove door damage. So as we zoom in, you can see I've got a couple of door dents, and they're not big, but they just happen to be right on that body line for this rear door as well. So I've got my window guard and wedge set up. I'm just going to look at a couple of different techniques and tools to start removing these dents. Now I've already had a look on the inside with this tool and just checked that I can get behind and get to the damage. So good news is I can, there's no kind of reinforcers or bars that's stopping me, and there's no sound sort of deadening pad in the way either. So for me I'm going to use my go-to door bar, which is just a fairly standard hockey stick tool, and that is due to the shape and design of it, why I call it a hockey stick tool. This particular one is from BLE Tools, but pretty much any door bar that's going to give you access is okay to use. So what I generally do with door dents, or particularly when they're on body lines, is really kind of assess the overall area. So this one's got a little scuff on, so I'm going to start by polishing that scuff off, and that's going to give me a really nice clean reflection so I can really pick out the extent of the damage. When it's on a body line, usually I like to start with the line itself, and if I can get a soft tip on it, I'll work out that body line and bring that back out. But with door dents, or more specifically with the ones that are on body lines, it really is so important to keep cross-checking and cross-referencing your work. So whilst it looks like it's out from one direction, I'll keep swapping from side to side, either side of the repair, and cross-checking it against my line board and just make sure that I've got it out fully. So I don't have a soft tip that's going to get on the back of that, and I want to use this bar, so I'm just going to use a little bit of tape right onto the end, and that's going to give me a little soft damper. And then I'm going to start by getting right behind the body line itself and just starting to get the shape back out of it and start to kind of work with the metal and see how it starts to respond to some pushes. So we'll zoom in and we'll take a look. Now with this particular set I have a left-handed and a right-handed, and it really depends what's going to give me the best kind of leverage, or what's going to make it easier for me to do my repair. So coming in at this body position, I can get my tool to the back of the dent, and then my arm is going to be working this way around, so that suits me quite comfortably. Alternatively, it's coming in from this angle and again pulling. So I find that using that motion, or being able to pull the bar, it helps me in that sense. But if I was to use the other handed bar, it's a similar process. It just depends whether again you're pulling from this hand or whether you're pushing. So even though they're left-handed and right-handed, I can decide whether which way around I'm going to pick the tool, and that will decide whether I am pushing on the bar or whether I am pulling on the bar. And as you start to practice, and you'll find out which is easier, which takes less strain on your body and is kind of easier on your arms. Because the last thing you want to do is putting all your force into it. One, you'll tire yourself out pretty quick, but two, the more force you use, the more chance you are to kind of make a mistake or for the tool to slip, in which case there's a chance it's going to cause more damage as the tool tip slips. So do have a little play around with the bars. As I say, these are left-handed and right-handed, but I can choose to use them either way around, and then it just depends which gives me the best access and leverage from this end, and then whether I want to be pushing or pulling as my kind of motion in removing the dents. Now I like to start off by just getting a feel for the tooltip, checking the location and just making sure I can reach each part of the repair. So I'm currently working the smaller dent of the two, which is just a slight bit of distortion here, and then the larger one which is back here, which you can just pick up in a kind of fog reflection. But I've got my tooltip right here on that body line, and I appreciate it's difficult to pick up on the camera, but I'm just working out that line and making sure I can get the line back straight. and it looks pretty good from this side. So I'll just pop onto the other side and cross check my work. So now that we've removed the smaller dent out of the two, I'm going to work on this slightly bigger one that's again just on that body line. Now it's always good to get yourself as close as you can to the panel to really get an idea of the overall size. So it's not just a small kind of round dent, but it really does come up a good few centimetres either side of that line as well. It's always good to have a good sort of look, put your face as close to the panel as you can and really sort of move backwards and forwards and get an idea of the overall shape and size. Now thankfully the dent itself is not too sharp, so I'm just switching to the other version of this tool and again just applied a little bit of tape to the end. So that really gives me a nice soft damper so I can apply a bit more force. But the reason I changed to this tool is it's just going to give me again just a bit more access or a bit more leverage in terms of being able to apply some pressure and push out that dent. Learning paintless dent removal is a skill for life. So over at our training site, it's not just a whole bunch of training tutorials and videos in a random order. I've designed a specific PDR pathway. Now this is a step-by-step approach and it's the order that I personally recommend you should learn the different kind of techniques with paintless dent removal. So we start at the beginning, really understanding the basic principles of PDR. Now this gives us a solid foundation that we can build on to really progress as a paintless dent repair technician. We also have an online community for students only. Now I'm in there every day to share tips and advice and really help you level up your PDR game. So if you're interested in learning paintless dent removal, I'm here to help you. You can head over to learnpdronline.com, contact me directly, go through your but for now, let's get back to the video. So as I move my line board forward and backwards, you can just indicate that little low spot that's there. So I just highlight that on the panel, and then I'm still going to use the same bar, so I'm using this hockey stick tool, but I've now taken the tape off the end and I'm going to go metal to metal. This really allows for some pinpoint accuracy. And this is a highlight of the low spot that I am working on. So it really is small, which is why I need the pinpoint accuracy of the tool without the tape on. And I just start to give it some gentle pushes to bring up that low and get the panel level. Now it is just slightly high to the left, so as we zoom back out again, you're just going to see me start to knock that down. And I'll zoom in once again and really pick up the detail. So it's these type of detailed focused tutorials that we have over at Learn PDR Online. And it really allows us to get a good look at all of the different techniques and the approach to learning paintless dent removal. And it's so important to keep cross-referencing your work. So I check it from one angle, check that I'm in the right place, the panel's nice and level, and there is still a little bit of distortion. So I'm just going to pick out the kind of little bits of distortion that I can see from this side, and then once again cross-check the work. So it really is so important to continually cross-check your work. From a certain angle the dent will look like it's out, certainly from straight on it's completely out. But get yourself on each, look at it from each angle left to right, and really get your face right up against that panel, and it's really going to give you a good eye for the distortion if there's any kind of ripples or any kind of highs and lows left in it. And again with the board, without the board altogether as well, it will just kind of give you a good idea in the natural light. If there's any kind of distortion, any highs, any crowns, or any kind of little ripples that go in there. So just keep checking it from each angle, and again with your face right up against the panel. And it's also good to put yourself sort of further away, so looking at a dent from this close, put yourself right back as far as you can still see it, and really sort of check those perspectives as well, because it really does make a huge difference when it comes to getting the dent 100%. Now when it comes to tool selection with any repair, it comes down to me for two kind of factors really, reach and leverage. So firstly, what tool is going to give me the right reach to get to the back of the dent, and then which one's going to give me the best leverage so that I can gently start removing the dent with as much controlled pressure as possible. So you'll find as you start to go with leverage, now I like an ice cream as much as the next man, but when you're recording videos it is the bane of my life, because they play, stop, drive down the road, play, stop, drive down the road, and throughout all of my recordings you can just hear it and pick it up a little bit. So whilst I do appreciate an ice cream, now that I'm doing recording and editing, nightmare. I'm gonna go and get myself a 99. So today is the day. It's the last chance this year that you can join our online training community. We will reopen again in 2021 to welcome new students, so if you're watching this video after the date, by all means head over to our website. You can join the waitlist and you'll be the very first to know as soon as those dates become available. But if you are interested in learning paintless dent removal and you're not sure where to start, or just want to know a bit more about tools, the techniques, how to start removing dents, whether it be for your own kind of hobby and interest, or whether you're looking to turn it into a career and start your very own PDR business, we have a step-by-step approach over at learnpdronline.com. I'm going to put the link straight below this video in the description, so head over now, have a look, and if you've got any queries or questions at all, you can either just put them in the comments below this video or contact me directly via the website. I'm happy to help. So I'm Tom with Learn PDR Online. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.